everybody. How is everybody doing?
Hey,
Gurus
great.
again in YouTube. And don't forget, subscribers. Last week, we were talking about roadmaps. This week, we talk about self-confidence, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think for me, it's one of the most important things when you are transitioning and when you are a transgender person is to look a little bit for your self-confidence. But let's start this time with Mrs. Bobby Glass.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. I've been taking to heart all that Jimmy frequently talking about the discipline of going to the gym and working out and I'm going, yeah, she's right. And I'm spending a lot of time back and forth, and the friend I'm visiting in Louisiana all the time, she's been taking me to Planet Fitness, and I thought, okay, well, I've got one in my town, and so anyhow, I went and got all locked into that, and I'm over there having a great time and just fit right in, and every once in a while, I just get really amazed at where life has taken me. Here I am at Planet Fitness working out with all the other uh, uh, women there, and just fit right in. And it occurred to me that confidence is a lot like strength training. It's a lot like a muscle. It's like the more you push yourself to gain confidence, it's like the more confident you become. But uh, it's hard to have what I was feeling in Planet Fitness this week. I couldn't have done that back in the beginning, and so it just got me thinking about, well, where did it come from and how did I get there? And I thought that maybe that would be a good thing to talk about among ourselves here, because we all have we all live confident, happy lives, but I was just curious about how each of us got there. And I baby boomer, I kind of uh, followed the classic route of, uh, I always thought I was female, but it wasn't until I got a little older and was dabbling with cross dressing that I found, boy, you don't want to do that in the South, in my little town. And boy, it was just taboo as it could be. And so, like a lot of people, I was a closet cross dresser. And that went on for years, and then working my way into to a part-time thing where maybe in the evenings or the weekends and things like that. And then, at one point saying, I just can't live like this anymore. I got to go full time. And then you go full time, and again, you have to keep growing in your confidence. And um, I was really, um, I'm always looking for nuggets of wisdom. And back in that time where I was really uh, trying to come to decisions about, I'm not going to be part time anymore. It's like, this is crazy. I've got to start living full time. And I discovered the wisdom comes to me from all kinds of strange places. Eleanor Roosevelt, of all people, President Franklin Roosevelt's wife, it just, oh my gosh, she's just such a brilliant woman. And I don't know what kind of struggles she went through, coming to be this prominent first lady of America during the time of FDR's presidency. But she had a lot to say. And one of the things that first resonated with me was a quote: "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And I thought about that long and hard, because as when you're in the closet, when you're part time, and you've got all of this baggage and self-loathing and all of that stuff. I guess I had developed it just inferiority kind of complex, and that really was like, why in the world would I give anybody permission, consent to let them make me feel inferior? And I just really, I started thinking a lot about my neighbors and the way they lived their lives, and I just went back to like the Declaration of Independence. It was like, I'm a citizen. I'm entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and I am not inferior in that to anybody. And it's like uh, I am as entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as anyone, and that really encouraged me. And the idea is like, I'm just not going to allow anybody. I'm not giving anybody consenting to anybody anymore to make me feel inferior. Well, that still doesn't mean I'm not scared because I still had to come out to work and all of these other things. And again, it was Eleanor Roosevelt. And I had to get this her quote because this one's a little more lengthy. Come on here, Eleanor. But she says you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. And that was really my deal. Is like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't come out at work. I can't. It's like all these people. It's like, but she's saying you're not going to get confidence. You're not going to get strength. You're not going to get courage unless you do the things that you think you cannot do. And that just really kind of became my challenge. And when it comes to like thinking of confidence like a muscle and working out and getting stronger and stronger, that was really the secret for me. It's like you've got to do the thing that you cannot do. And I tried to imagine what was going through Eleanor Roosevelt's mind when she was thinking those things. And I just really felt like I was in good company. So I just got to the point where every time I was afraid to do something, I just said, okay, that's it. I've got to make myself do it. And and uh and it was like it went great. None of those fears or anything came to pass. And so um, I, I really quickly, that idea of not giving anyone, not consenting to letting anyone make me feel inferior, that was huge. And I just I went on to believe in that no one will succeed and making me feel like less of a human being, less of a citizen, less than a child of God than they are. And why would they? Why would anybody want to try to make you feel inferior? That's on them. That's trouble in their brains. And so there were just a lot of things I've just kind of learned the hard way. And I call transition a grand adventure in trial and error learning, and I just expect to make mistakes, and I expect to learn things the hard way, but but that's trial and error learning, and that's really the way we learn most of the stuff in our life, like how to ride a bicycle or how to do a layup in basketball or how to sew a dress or anything like that. Just trial and error learning. And so I just got really analytical. If I went out and something didn't go as well as I thought it would, I just would analyze it like, okay, a little error analysis. What can I do differently the next time? And so, but it's like working out in the gym. It's like you just have to push yourself to do more and more things that you're afraid of. And so, that's kind of how I came by it.
Speaking of gym,
Yes.
Jimmy, your turn.
Well, hello everyone, and it's nice to be here. So last week we were talking about life's roadmaps,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted just to conclude with that whole that whole concept. When we are at one with the universe, all roads lead to the same place,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a heightened state of spiritual development. Today we're talking about self-confidence, and I like what Bobby had to say. It was some good stuff. Self-confidence is the absence of self-doubt. And uh, a person's will only go as far as their level of self-belief. So how we develop self-confidence. I was listening to a video when I was working out on this. It was a TED talk, and the lecturer was talking about repetition. So I know the first time I ever went, and I love to, I'll share this story right here. Bobby was talking about going full time and so on. So the first time going to the gym out by my house, I go to two gyms: LA Fitness on the east side of town, Retro Fitness on the west side of town, which I call the redneck gym. Both excellent gyms, both good people.
Yeah.
And the first time I walk into the gym near my house with my boobs, I sat in the parking lot for a good 10 minutes and I said to myself, if I don't walk in this gym right now, I never will. And it happened to be the best workout of my life. And as it turns out, now when I go to any gym, I own it, so to speak, because I own myself. So you have to take that initial step. The hardest part about anything is taking the first step. And when we take the first step, we begin the process of momentum. We establish inertia. And the decision, I guess the first step is to make a decision. The second step is to initiate that decision. And this requires action. And then that action has a byproduct called inertia. And so this inertia is what carries us continuing to go forward. And another thing, what Bobby was talking about, our we have to grow in order to meet our. When we speak about this often in some of these videos, in order to meet, in order to, our future self lies. Our future self exists outside of our current comfort zone. So we need to grow our confidence to meet our future self. So in the comfort zone, no confidence is really required because you're comfortable. You're not doing anything outside of your comfort zone. And anytime we go outside of our comfort zone, we're going to need confidence that our comfort zone will grow proportionally to the degree that we're outside of our comfort zone. And this is what I wanted to say here too. Confidence is developed, not inherited. We are not born with confidence. We are born with the ability to develop confidence. I'm going to say that again. We are not born with confidence. However, we are born with the ability to develop confidence. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today, Ella.
Absolutely. That is a very important point, I think, because, confidence brings and demands work, right? With those words, Raji, it's your turn, girl.
Hello, everybody. And I just have to say, I've been walking with all this talk about gyms and working out. So I have been walking. I have a girlfriend of mine that came down from New York for a while. She's a walker. So she's been getting me to walk with her at night in my neighborhood. Victoria Park is a pretty safe, not pretty, it's a very safe neighborhood. That's why I'm walking. But it's also very beautiful. And so there's just, oh my God, it's a wonderful way to get a workout in a low impact type of way, and that works for me. So I've just been feeling different, like, we're taking our walks and just enjoying nature. And I tell you, after like a low impact walk, when I get home, I'm sweating. Like I did get a little workout.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just had to throw that in, being that everyone's talking about workouts and the gym. And I don't know if I'll make it to a gym. I might just stick to my walking. So, well, self confidence. Jimmy said something a few minutes ago about we are not born with confidence, we're born with the ability to get confident and have confidence. Paraphrasing, but that is so true. I think for a lot of LGBTQ people, uh, and especially from our generation, we grew up with a lot of shame. Because from early on, you kind of learn that you have to hide who you are, from your family, from your community, from the world. And that creates shame. It might be on a subconscious level. You may not even realize you have it
Mhm.
because it's subconscious. But I know I had quite a bit of it because, the embarrassment of like, oh my God, this is how I'm feeling, but my family doesn't agree with it. They say it's wrong. My neighborhood says it's wrong. The kids in school say it's wrong. Church says it's wrong. Et cetera, et cetera. And so, for a lot of us LGBTQ people, I think when we grow up and get into life, out into the world, we have had to really work through that in different ways. I sit here today in this moment, and I just, I'm so grateful that I am where I am at with my self confidence. But I have to tell you, sometimes I look at it as like a miracle in the sense that I was able to get past all the shame. Because even as an adult, like in my early 20s, working, I'm an effeminate male, I hadn't transitioned yet. And, I was oftentimes the butt of jokes. I was like made out to be a joke. And, you're dealing with that from your coworkers. And it's almost like you're walking around with, after a while, with a heavy load. And one thing that I found myself doing a lot is apologizing for nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And one day, this girl that I used to work with, a woman I used to work with, she stopped and she says, Raji, what are you sorry for? And I got to tell you, in that moment, those few words that she said, that one sentence was so powerful because I thought to myself, what am I sorry for? And am I apologizing for my existence? Is that why I'm always saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry? Because I'm sorry. Well, I'm apologizing for my existence because I got to tell you, some of these experiences that I had growing up with the bullying and getting beat down and, laughed at all the time and, just scorned, that shit, it becomes like a battle, and you do feel beat down and almost like you have to justify your existence, you have to justify your beingness. And so for me, I really look at my life journey as spectacular now because I was able to transcend that, triumph over that. And I think there's a number of things that helped me. First of all, I have faith. I have faith in our existence. I have faith in the fact that every single person born into life has a purpose here. And I think that's what I held on to for so long. Even when people were laughing and making fun and giving me a hard time, there was this thing in me that said, God, but Raji, your life means something too. You're here for a reason too. And so having faith and seeing the miracles that have happened in my life. And so my faith, I got into therapy. I bit the bullet for so many years. And finally, I couldn't take it anymore. And I ended up going and getting a therapist. And therapy has been amazing. You got to get the right one, though. If you
Yeah.
hook up with a wrong therapist, it's just going to F you up even more. But it's like finding that good match. Um, and so that has helped me, having that sounding board to, someone to talk to and kind of throw my ideas and my feelings out and have like that kind of third party, I would call them, because they're not family, they're not quite a friend, although I become friends with my therapist, but it's a different category. And I just feel like that's someone I can just talk to that I might not talk talk about topics with my family or with my friends. So therapy. And then I would say too, just getting like some way to motivate you, whether it's motivational speakers or or the spiritual gurus. There's plenty of them. You can go on YouTube, it's for free. you know Deepak Chopra, Louise L. Hay, Marianne Williamson. I listen to a lot of Esther Hicks Abraham, Gary Zukov. And you have your like so many wonderful motivational speakers. So finding something that's gonna like motivate you and get you empowered. My therapist said this to me. Um, uh, uh, I guess it was the first time he said it to me was a couple years ago, and he said, "Raji, stop looking inwards, look outwards." He says, "When people act the fool with you, disrespect you, it is not a reflection of you." Because see, it was almost like I was looking in at myself and blaming myself for it. He says, no, it's a reflection of that person. And whether that person is a loving, kind human being or not. So that has helped me too, because not feeling like, oh, it's me, and I'm the problem. No, I'm not the problem. I'm kind, I'm respectful, I'm loving, I'm doing, things in the world to contribute to society in wonderful, positive, uplifting ways. No, I'm not the problem. The asshole that's laughing at me and calling me horrible names. You know, I'm just saying, like, not getting out of the blame game of on yourself. Putting it on yourself. So yeah, I would say those. Oh, and last but not least, I can't forget this, my family and friends that have been in my corner, because it's a mixed bag for me. I have family that don't speak to me. They don't want to be bothered or connected with me. But I have family that love and support me and appreciate me and see my light. And the same with friends. Getting that circle of friends, and it's not quantity, y'all. It's quality. I can count, like, on one hand, the close friends that I've had. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of acquaintances. Maybe two hands, because I'm getting up there. I can count them like by 10 fingers. The really good friends that I've had in my life that have really been there and in my corner. So on that note, I'm going to throw it back to Ella.
Thank you. I mean, I have to tell something. I'm always extremely proud of us four, because I mean, what you two girls have been said is absolutely beautiful, really beautiful, all of you, and right straight to the point. But it's really interesting too to see that we all have very similar lives. And this feeling of when you're young and you feel ashamed, I had it too. And I went through, and it took a while, but I got over it. And this feeling that, it's not about it's not your problem, it's the other people's problem if they go against you. I totally agree with you. And I totally agree that you are the one which let other people's go over you. Absolutely. 100%. But self-confidence is learning. Self-confidence is it's life experience that brings you the more the self-confidence. It doesn't come one day to the other. I have to say, what did I do to get self-confidence? When I started transitioning, I was freaking afraid of doing this. Oh my God, that was really freaking out. I had very good help. One of the biggest help was my daughter. I'll never forget, I was, transitioning. She knew about it. She welcomed it. She thought, as a matter of fact, since then we've become very good friends. more than before, and probably not because of it was because of me, because I was putting my shield towards her. And I'll never forget, one day I was going to do something. I was going to put the rubbish out, something very, very simple. And what did I do? I went and put some makeup to put the rubbish out. And then she looks at me and she said, Ella, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to put the rubbish out. And then she said, why are you putting makeup to put the rubbish out? And I said, yeah, because I want to look feminine. And she
Yeah.
said, come on, nobody really looks, and it's you. It's you,
Right.
it's beautiful you. And afterwards, I actually went to put the rubbish out without makeup.
Mhm.
And that gave me that feeling that, yeah, you are someone. And it's really true. Follow your fears, because that's where you get the thicker skin. That's where you get your elephant skin. That's where you actually learn things. And that's where you get your self-confidence. I mean, these days, after many years of, I have to tell you as well something very interesting, which goes a little bit in direction of Bobby. I had a very good career, really. I was bullied as well, probably not very much because I was feminine, probably yes, a bit. But I had mainly some bosses which were actually bullied me quite a lot. Uh, I think that there was that feeling that, there's something different with this person. I was not extremely feminine, but I was never masculine either. At least I tried to play a role of a man,
Mhm.
So one of these guys, okay, what I learned, I had two sides. One side is let's say, the feminine and my personal side, and the other side is my professional side. And my professional side, I had one very good thing, and that is that my know-how was absolutely to the point. Very, very high know-how in my company. So this guy, German guy, um, terrible person, terrible person. He thought himself as an extreme alpha male. I have to say, an incredible self-confidence, but a killing towards other people. Not a self-confidence on himself, but in an amount of aggressivity which he gave up as self-confidence. Right? And I mean, he's the only person. He put me 3 times out of the company, and every time the next day he re-employed me again. But but not because of my femininity or something like that, because he was, I mean, he thought he could bully me,
Mhm.
and that's what he did. And he had to put me back because of my know-how. Simple as that. Anyway, um, I have to thank as well. I have to say about 80% of the people I know these days knew me the way I used to be before.
Mhm.
They knew my old self, and they totally are positive towards it. And these are people from all over the world, from all creeds and all religions, everything. I know people from Israel, I know people from Saudi Arabia, I know people from China, I know from India, from all over the world, believe me, and all over Europe. And it's always very interesting and even in my professional life, I have many people which I work with, which have known me for many, many, many years and are extremely positive towards me. They, I mean, when I transitioned, I even got emails of people which I hadn't seen for a long time, congratulate me and telling that they admire me for my courage,
Mhm.
which is something nice. Uh, that gave me a hell of a lot of self-confidence, I have to say. And when I pick the plane and to go to the other side of the world, you do have to have a little bit of self-confidence. When you go all over the place, I'm not going around with the thing, I am a transgender woman or whatever. No, I don't. But and I am lucky enough that I don't have too many issues. Um, you really do need a hell of a lot of self-confidence, because you are presenting, and yeah, it's it can be a challenge. It can be a challenge, but this is I mean, don't forget, every day you've got a new experience, right? Every day you've got a new experience. And the wonderful thing about creating your self-confidence as well is that, what is the challenge of the day? How can I solve it? How can I get better with it? How can I learn from it? So this is what I would like to tell. With that, let's go to the final round, okay? Who wants to go first?
Oh, I will. It's,
Go ahead.
I just because what everybody says just kind of triggers so many thoughts, and I was thinking what Raji said about a counselor, and I'm a huge mental health advocate, and I hate to think where I would be if I hadn't. But it was funny. Um, um, I had been in conversion therapy for decades. That wasn't working. That wasn't working. That was just making me miserable. And I thought, all right, this is it. I need to, I got to quit this stuff, because you cannot change your mind to match your body. You need to change your body to match your mind. Um, and I remember, well, I'll go to the Psychology Today website and just see who the LGBTQ therapists are in town. And it was, this is what I didn't know, but there were a lot of them. And it's like, oh wow, how do I choose? And so they all said that they were, LGBTQ friendly. Well, I've learned that by going to them, it was like I would discover pretty soon on that I was the first trans person they'd ever talked to. And that's when I discovered doctor shopping. And so yeah, you do. And after a while I learned to ask questions like, how many transgender clients do you have? How many of them have you helped to get into hormone replacement therapy or get letters for surgery and things like that? And if they couldn't answer those questions, I was like, okay, I need to keep going through the phone book. So yeah, you have to. You, everybody says they're LGBTQ friendly, but that doesn't mean they're competent. And it's only by calling them up and asking some of those screening questions that you find the ones that, yeah, oh yeah, I've written surgery letters for about 5 dozen people. Okay, when can I come see you? And uh, and that was I just wanted to be sure to mention that, because we all exist in our own unique minefield. We have homes and employment and shelter and public safety and neighborhoods. And, you know, how I plotted my path through the minefield is like I wouldn't presume to ever tell anybody else how they should plot their path through their minefield. And so I'm glad Raji mentioned therapy, because that really goes hand in glove with everything.
Jimmy, would you like to go?
Sure. Liking what I'm hearing. But one thing I haven't heard yet is what is the tangible, the tangible definition of confidence? And I'm thinking, if you ask 10 people, you're going to get 10 different answers. To me, confidence is the innate feeling that things are going to work out. And I think one of the ingredients to have confidence is faith. Faith. And that faith is belief in ourselves. So I was thinking about something here. There needs to be a desire. There needs to be a desire if we want to achieve or become anything beyond what we currently have or are. And I think it was either Bobby or Raji were talking about getting motivated and inspired and stay that way. And motivation and inspiration are fleeting, but discipline will take up the slack. So that's why everything that we desire requires some level of discipline. And discipline is one of the ingredients of achieving self confidence and the absence of self doubt. And I think this was an excellent podcast today. We went over some really good stuff. So thank you for having me.
It's always a great pleasure to have you, Jimmy. You are a core of our group.
Yeah.
Oh, we are all core, but you are a very old core of our group. Raji, your last words
My last words.
for tonight.
For tonight, thank you. You gave me a longer life. I don't know what my actual last words would be. But what I wanted to say is like sometimes what I will do is I'll think about my little self and I'll love on my little self because the thing is when we're children, we're very impressionable
Mhm.
and we're listening to like all the adults and the people around us. And I think a lot of times what happens is depending on how much of the positive messages you get about yourself as opposed to the negative, the amount as an impressionable child, if you're hearing a lot of negative, after a while maybe you will start to believe it. And so I touch on that because don't blame yourself for like any sort of feelings you have if you've been living life in shame, or if you just you haven't had the courage to do things. A lot of times these things stem all the way back to childhood, because childhood is like the foundation. When you're building something, a building, you got to make sure that foundation is right for the building to be strong and stand and last. So no blame game. Don't play it, and what I've tried to do is work on that for myself and just love on my little self, and the kid that was just confused and listening to all these different messages and just trying to figure stuff out and like, believing a lot of the negative stuff for a long time. So that I wanted to say that. And then the other thing is you will see it is absolutely wonderful when, as you start to gain confidence, you will see how you command respect in the world. There will be a shift, because what I found is for a long time when I was walking around like with my head down and unsure of myself, I was almost like a sheep in a wolf's den. People, their radars go. They target in on like someone that's not confident and insecure. It's almost like you have a X on your forehead, and you'll see. And I saw it in my life as I became more confident. I have been able to command more respect. And it's just that there's this thing with people when they see someone that's shining in their authenticity, and carrying themselves with their head up and confident. That thing is undeniable, and people can't deny it. They might hate on you or whatever, but deep down inside, they're like, "Damn, this person
Yeah.
this person actually, believes in themselves, and
Yeah.
they're walking with their head up." So those are two things I want to leave everyone with. And I also want to say Pride Month is next week,
Yeah.
LGBTQ Pride. So let's all, for all of our LGBTQ viewers, let's truly celebrate, because having pride, and I have a family member, I'm not going to say who they are, they're actually married into the family. When you say, I'm proud of you, like sometimes I'll make that statement, oh, you have to be humble. No, you're confusing it, buddy. No, I can still be proud of myself, but also be humble.
Sure.
And and I think for us LGBTQ people, the Pride Month is so important, because that helps with our self-esteem.
Yeah.
So that we can truly shine as the beautiful people we are in this world. Ella?
Thank you very much. I think this has been a very, very nice podcast. I think I really do think so. I just want to tell something. I don't think that communication is only verbal. The communication is everywhere, and non-communication is a type of communication too. Don't forget that. But the wavelengths that we throw to the world, they're not always verbal.
You're right.
Sometimes it's somewhere in a vibration that not everybody understands, but many people do. Many people do.
Ella,
Thank God.
I got to say one more thing.
Yeah.
I want everyone to do this. Take these two fingers and bring them together and look in the middle, and you will notice a white line. It's very faint, but you'll see it. That's our aura. And as you pull it away, you'll see it. It is, let me tell you, and you reminded me, what did you say?
You tried it.
You reminded me of that. We are more than just our physicality.
Go ahead. Put your things. Your hearts will come.
Okay.
Oh, it will? Mine isn't. Wait
Mine's
a minute.
not
I
working.
still have love. I have love.
Anyway, with those words, thank you very much for watching Transgurus. I think we're going to be finished for today. Prepare yourself for Pride Month. Be careful, because there was some kind of federal information about be careful about Pride Month where you go, not only in the United States, globally, because apparently right now there is a kind of a global hate about Pride Month. So just be careful. Anyway, we are here to be with you, to help you. If you've got any questions, please come to us. Whoop.
The white line is there.
And enjoy and subscribe to Transgurus, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Namaste.
Bye.